All right. What's going on, everybody? It's your host. It's old Sam. Welcome back to another installment of the Deviled Advocate. I'm chilling, as you know. I'm always chilling. If I'm not chilling, I'm trying to chill. Today, I'm chilling with a good buddy. He's been on once before, friend of the show. Ryan, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me back.
Dude, absolutely. Anytime. I feel like I haven't seen you in...
Probably a month.
At least a month, if not longer, and that's
a long time for us.
Yeah, I mean, when we went to school together, we hung out four times a week.
Yep.
When we lived together, we hung out every day.
Yep. Yeah, Harper, my son, calls when we lived with you. He calls that our 100-day sleepover.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I like that he. So it's a 100-day sleepover, but he also refers to like apartments as forts.
Yeah. We're in our new fort.
Yeah.
Sometimes he misses our old fort.
Oh.
And then sometimes he's like, God, when can we not live in a fort? I always say, well, I'm almost done with college.
Yeah. You've got
That's
one more semester left, and then you've got a BA in creative writing.
Yeah.
And associates in screenwriting.
I'll be a badass in creative writing.
All right. Yeah.
No, you know what? I don't have an associate's in screenwriting. I have to go back for a semester.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to, but if I wanted to actually get that, because I didn't finish my
You just
script.
had to finish the script.
Yeah, so all I have to, basically I have to finish the script and hand it to him, but I have to pay for an additional semester. Maybe I'll do it.
I feel like...
I like Hafed a lot. I like our instructor.
He's great.
Yeah, he was fantastic. And I would only have to see him. I'm guessing he's still there.
I think he's going to be there until the program ends up killing itself.
Yeah, or
which
he decides to end it, or yeah.
I think
or maybe Jeremy. He's grooming Jeremy, Jer-Bear.
I think that was the goal. From what I understand now, the Minneapolis Community Technical College Film School is moving away from like when we went your second year, you was focused in cinematography or screenwriting,
producing,
or
directing. Yeah.
And now it sounds like they're going to you're going to have a focus, but you're going to graduate with like a cinema production degree instead of...
Oh, it's just a broad degree.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which will make it easier for people to graduate. Because, I mean, we were lucky with our internship being handed to us. You know?
Yep.
The other programs didn't have that.
Was that the Screenwriters Association? What was that called?
Yeah, the Minnesota Screenwriters Workshop.
Okay. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it was fun to learn how to write coverage. You know, if you're chasing a screenwriting degree or a screenwriting career, that's going to be one of the first jobs you can get in the field. But yeah, I don't know. It seemed like they were pushing us to like apply for graduation, like the first day of our second year.
Yeah, he brought that up a lot too.
Yeah.
He would like pass out that form, and it's like, I've had 3 of these.
Yeah.
Are
and
you
like,
losing them? Is that what's happening?
I would have never graduated if he didn't make me fill that out, and
maybe that's why
he turned it in for me.
Yeah, he would be like, fill it out, put it on my desk. He didn't sound like that though.
He's got this
literally
very, very elusive accent. He's like French, but he was raised in
Czechoslovakia or some Czech Republic, whatever they call it.
I think
now.
he was raised in Tunisia.
Oh,
in like northern Africa.
Oh,
like for like
fancy
the first half of his, I don't know, primary years,
okay.
And then went to Czech and studied at the Prague Film School.
Oh, he studied in like Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
He wasn't born there.
Dude, having Hafed on this would be so funny because like every joke I wrote into my script, he's like, "What is this for?" And I was like, "It's a joke." He's like, "It is literally not."
Yeah.
I was like, "No, you just don't get it, man."
He was not. Comedy writing was not his thing. I don't think. Like,
no, not at all.
He knows everything about screenwriting. He literally wrote the book. We both bought it, but
I still,
comedy,
whenever I write a script, which is, I don't know, all of the time, I go back to that book.
Yeah,
like,
I just
how do I
dug mine
format
out.
a montage?
Yeah,
like,
it's all there.
Yeah,
That
maybe
book
I
is
should have
great.
learned it, but it's good to have a go-to guide for it.
Yeah, it's still just as good. Yeah, that book is useful. That's one I would never sell back or like throw away. None of the books I bought for either majors, I keep all those. Like the ones that are like electives, math books,
Sure.
my biology stuff, gone.
Sell those back at the...
I sell them back at the library because whatever, I'm getting $6 for one and 12 for the other, and I spent like 150 on them combined. But I don't care. Whatever. I'll get a snack or something and forget about it.
Well, and there's no reason for you to haul around 8 textbooks that you're never going to open again.
Never open again. And it's just getting more and more less valuable. How can something get more or less? I don't know. But that, like books, especially textbooks, they put out a new edition, so you have to buy a new edition.
It's crazy. One of my roommates did like a semester in college, and he has like 12 textbooks, and he still has them, and he's moved them from one house to the next house. This is the 3rd house. He's going to bring them with him to Kansas City. I don't get it. That's an extra 36 pounds probably.
I was just going to say, books and water are like the heaviest thing ever. Would you take your pond with you if you were moving? Like, I don't know. That was the dumbest thing I've ever said.
If I had a pond,
yeah,
I would take it with me wherever I went.
Yeah.
If I could, but
Dude,
that's not plausible.
I want to tell you a pond story real quick.
I would love that.
Is that cool?
Please.
I was reading...
the wetter, the better, I always say.
This one, you might get wet a little bit. I was reading an obituary yesterday that I wasn't reading the obituaries, but there was just like an obituary that was interesting. And so it was like front page news. I don't know, probably USA Today or something, whatever. It was this kid who was like terminally ill. He was 5, and his parents were like, "Hey, we want to talk to you about what you want." And his responses were hilarious. They let him write the obituary, basically.
I favorited a tweet today because I saw that popping up.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I need to read this kid's obituary, as morbid as that sounds. Yeah. But so like the tweet that I favorited said like, "See ya, suckers."
Yeah, that was the end of the obituary. See you later, suckers. Yeah.
And then Anthony Jeselnik, as always, comes in hot and he says, "No, you won't."
Oh man.
I don't think he's that. I mean, he's super funny, but he's not my sense of humor. Yeah.
Yeah. He's been around for a while. Yeah.
But the fact, like, he doesn't let anything keep him from making those jokes.
Yeah.
There's nothing is too soon for him, and that's 100% admirable.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's okay. Yeah.
Do you remember any of the other things the kid said?
Yeah. They said, for burial, what do you want? And he said, "I want to be buried and then turn into a tree so I can become a gorilla and live in the tree and throw poop at Dad." That was one of them. But the pond part, he didn't choose this because he said he wanted to be buried. I'm sure they didn't bring up cremation to him because that would be pretty hard to explain to a 5-year-old.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
They did cremate him, and his ashes they're going to put on this little boat and put it in their neighbor's pond. And then an archer is coming to shoot a flaming arrow to the boat.
Like a Viking's funeral.
Like a Viking funeral, I guess. Yeah, that's a Viking. Yeah, I was thinking like Eskimo. Yeah, Viking funeral, exactly. And then at the funeral, they're like, "What do you want at your funeral?" He said, 5 bouncy houses, because I'm 5. And then he just had like a bunch of other, like, it was what I would call a funeral. Yeah. I tried to sell that to my dad, a funeral director, a lot of times. Like, you should start having funerals or coupons. But he never takes my ideas for the business. You should go into business with your dad, because I think people might start dying just to be buried by you guys. Yeah.
I know I would. Like, how can we do this
trademark
the best
touch?
way? I brought it up in the episode, Death Pranks Are Funny and Salads Are Sad. It was one of my early episodes.
Yep.
But when I die, I want to be cremated and put into pepper shakers and like passed out to all my, because I've been planting this for a long time. Every year I give my mom novelty salt and pepper shakers.
Oh, okay.
So some year after I die, I want somebody close to me who's outside the family to like send all my family members pepper shakers.
That's cool.
With like ceramic versions of me.
Yeah.
That they can dump out what they think is pepper onto their,
Yeah. That should be a service. Like when you die, you should be able to sign up for that. Like get a subscription. Hey, buy my family gifts for the next 10 years. Here's whatever it costs.
Yeah. I thought you meant, death pranks. Like,
oh, well, that'd be fine too.
Yeah. I mean, there's companies.
We also do death pranks.
No, that would be cool. Also kind of like creepy and like, holidays are probably sad enough without your loved one.
Yeah.
But to get like a mysterious gift in the mail.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be a little weird. I think it would be great because I love presents. I hate surprises though, so maybe I wouldn't like it. I don't know.
This weekend I was working the valet stand on Saturday during the day, which never happens I don't know. There's never any valet action during the day on Saturday where I do that. And
you think there'd be a lot of people? Do you valet for the golfers?
Never.
Okay,
we call them trunk slammers.
Just for the club.
Just for I mean, I will park a golfer, but they park in a different area just to walk into like the clubhouse or to the bag room, whatever. But that sounds so stupid. But Saturday there was a memorial because one of my coworkers' little brothers died, and so that's what I was parking. He was 22. He had cancer. Man. He had died like 2 weeks, I think 2 weeks before. So it wasn't like it was actually like more of a celebration type of thing than like a super sad thing. I think everybody saw it coming.
They had their time to be really sad, and that was before he actually died.
Yep.
You know, they knew it was coming. They were waiting for it.
Yeah, he beat it in a big way, and then it came back like ultra aggressive, I guess.
Yeah.
And it sucks. Like the guy who I work with is like the nicest dude. He hasn't even been there that long. Like I've worked there forever, but he hasn't even been there that long, and he's already like just embedded. He'll help whatever. I have him down in valet sometimes when like I'll send Dum Dum Nick home.
Sure.
I'll just be like, hey Peter, you're a grown up. You want to drive some cool cars with me?
Can you explain Dum Dum Nick to the audience? Because this guy's a dummy.
He's worked with me for a long time at the valet stand, and he's crashed 2 cars. 3 if you include his own, because that's happened twice also. I don't know. It's just the most unreliable person ever. When he gets into work every day a half an hour late, 20 minutes into a shift, he's like, think it's cool if I take off? Like, why do you work here?
Why even come in?
Yeah. He's got really rich parents who live in Aspen, California. And beautiful. And his parents live in Aspen. So they used to own.
Just to be clear, that's Aspen, Colorado.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I was doing Lloyd Christmas.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, his parents used to own like a popular around here, like a ski snowboard shop.
Sure.
Well, his stepdad's dad started it or whatever, and then his stepdad took it over. And when they sold that, Aspen, no, it wasn't Aspen. One of the big resorts bought it.
Was it Breckenridge?
Not Breck.
Right.
Vail. Vail Resorts bought all their locations because Vail bought one of our hills around here, Afton or something. Sure. Vail Resorts owns one of our local hills now. And, yeah, so they're really rich. But one of the stipulations he put in was I get a job I get like a high up, I don't think it's like executive, but like a management.
This is the stepdad.
The stepdad is like, as part of the deal, I get a salary position with Vail Resorts. So
probably has a sick pad too, like on the resort, I would imagine.
I'm sure. Yeah, and they were rich before that. So, you know, they're very wealthy. And yeah, like this guy, when I met him, he was driving a Mercedes C-Class, like a new C-Class at the time. He crashed that within.
Is C-Class good?
Mm-hmm. Better than E-Class, not as good as S-Class. But E-Class and C-Class are very similar.
With your typical grading scale.
No. It's not ABC. No, the lower the letter, the better. Lower in the alphabet for Mercedes, the better.
Except for with C and E.
Yeah, very true. And you know what, though? People could argue with me like, well, I like the E-Class better. And I really wouldn't have anything to say other than, well, C-Class comes with better brakes or, you know, whatever. But, yeah, he crashed that within, I don't know, a month of me knowing him, of working there. And then his mom leased him a brand new Jetta. Huge mistake. You don't lease something for dum-dum. When they brought it back, that
Do you ever lease something? I've been talking about buying cars with people and
a car, never. But that's not that it, like, leasing is coming back in a big way. I'm not saying it's a terrible thing to do, but I'm a car person. I want to have my car for a while.
Yeah.
And, like, I have the exact car I want.
And you were able to buy yours straight up, right?
Yeah.
Without any of the, like, I think I know 3 people who are leasing their cars right now, and it's like, so at the end
millennials
of your lease,
are like doing it.
Do you get an option to buy a new car?
No. Well,
or to buy out?
You can't buy the lease usually. That's like a thing they do. They will sell it to somebody else, but they don't want to sell it to you because in your mind it has a different value. You're thinking you're going to get it for a lower price, but they can sell it to somebody else who that's basically a new car to them.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense.
They want you to lease the new model. So they make it extremely hard for you to buy out that lease. In the 90s, that's what you would do. You buy out your lease when you're done.
Yeah.
But so basically when you lease a car, you pay half the price to own the car, but you don't end up with anything. But a lot of times now that leasing a car is a turnkey thing. It's maintenance, it's everything. But like this kid, Nick, went way over his miles. So like the last 6 months he owned his car, he was paying like 30 cents a mile to drive around, and it had so much damage. This was a car that was 2 years old. It had rust on it.
What?
Like not even possible, really.
Yeah.
It's because he crashed it like so many times, like parking and stuff. He had so many dings on like the sheet metal on the front and the sides that like once it creased, that paint is not rigid anymore. So it starts to rust. Oxygen gets in there, water gets in there. And yeah, he had a rusty, I think his was a 2016. He turned in a rusty ass 2016 Jetta, and he had to pay, I mean, they had to cut a huge check for them to take that car back. And then his mom bought him a brand new car after that. They didn't lease. Now he's driving a brand new Subaru Crosstrek.
I know we're not doing any favors by doing ourselves any favors by calling this kid Dumb Nick, but
just me. To be fair, it was only me. It wasn't Sam.
Kid's an idiot.
He's
never met him, but his name's Nick. In my book, that means you're automatically dumb.
I had to be careful with that when I lived here because, I didn't want him to think I thought he was dumb.
I have a roommate named Nick who I've mentioned in many an episode who isn't.
He's never been on?
No, he doesn't. He has no interest in supporting my creative endeavors.
But when we did a podcast together, when we were experimenting, we tried to have him be the producer for a while, but he would just kind of doze off or like eat something.
Yeah, like you want your producer, your engineer to be listening,
laser focused,
looking up things.
That's why we had him. He had his laptop in his lap, so
but he was just sitting on Reddit.
Look shit up. Yeah,
he was doing anything he could to not pay attention to us.
Yeah,
including eating on mic.
Yeah, that was my thing. I was like, really?
He'd like hold a bag of chips in the same hand that he held the mic, and so it was just super loud. And then he wouldn't talk into the mic.
Yeah, he would hold it like 8 feet from his head.
I mean, love the guy.
Love Nick.
Love the childlike innocence.
I wouldn't say that about him if I didn't love him. Yeah, and he knows we love him.
Yeah.
There's no question that other Nick, Dumb Nick, he's been a very difficult person to know for 5 years.
Sure.
He's worked there as long as I have. He's an extra hassle. One day he didn't have a car because he crashed too many, and so he skateboarded to work. He used his longboard, got stolen. It's just there's always a problem.
Yeah.
It can never just be go to work then go home, or he'll get to work. I forgot to punch in or whatever, and then one time he didn't cash his paychecks for 6 months. And so they all expired.
How is your family so rich that you don't? Why do you have a job?
You didn't even pick them up.
Anything out of it?
Yeah. I think maybe his mom was just like, "You have to do this in order for us to support your life.
Yeah.
You have to pretend." And now somehow he's going to Augsburg.
How?
I don't know. Maybe you can just write a check and go to that school.
I bet you can.
Maybe that's what it is.
I think those if.
It's a very accepting school. Yeah. I know that.
If you give enough money, and you threaten to not give any more money.
They built the Dum Dum Gymnasium.
Yeah.
now he's good. Still has to pay full tuition.
But why can't you guys just call it the Nicknasium?
That's seriously very close to him.
Really?
Yeah, and he talks too loud to people when they come in, hi there, he yells at him. You're you're right in front of him. It's okay.
You think maybe he has a hearing
he has disorder? To have something. Yeah, because he talks very loud.
Quite a few people that were like, you're so loud all the time.
To you?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
I've never thought that.
No, not me. I've known people that I think that about.
Oh, my brother Mitchell.
Oh, dude.
So
absolutely.
Loud.
I don't know if I've ever talked to your brother.
You've seen him.
I definitely have.
You pulled up to his house in Duluth.
I think I gave him the double deuces.
But
yeah, it's 3 out of 3 times the people I'm thinking about have gotten hearing aids, and they've lowered their voice entirely. One of the guys doesn't wear his hearing aids, but when he does, you can tell the difference. He doesn't anymore.
I think those would be useful even if you don't have a hearing problem. You could have your TV on volume 2 and just turn up your hearing aids, and that'd be awesome. For parenting, that would be excellent.
I'm friends with this deaf girl. I'm not friends with her. We're friends on Snapchat. She was somebody that used to come by one of my buddy's houses in my first years here, and She's deaf. She can hear a little bit. She wears hearing aids, so like she's conversational. But like when she'll post a lot of times of her like watching videos on YouTube or Netflix.
Yeah.
And I'll like turn the volume up so I can hear it. And because she has subtitles or closed captioning on, or subtitles, you know, depending on if it's foreign or not, which I learned from you. But I'll like turn it up on my phone so I can hear it, and it'll be silent. It just her laughing. I'll be like, oh, that makes total sense. Because if she wanted to hear it, she would have to turn it way up.
Yeah, yeah.
But it would be so nice to get like just some casual hearing aids so I can watch TV at night without having to like make it super loud. Because I always have a fan or an AC unit on in my room.
Yeah.
And so you're just pumping it.
I could probably hook you up. My brother-in-law works for Starkey.
Dude, and
Starkey Labs.
But he would get mad at us if we called. And this episode is not brought to you by Starkey Labs as far as I'm concerned yet.
They had their gala last night.
If they want to sponsor me, if Mel Brooks is still in town and he wants to come on the podcast. Billy Crystal, my bad.
Mel Brooks would have been a get.
They're one and the same, right? They're
almost the same.
Mel Brooks gave Billy Crystal not his big break, but was Billy Crystal not in most Mel Brooks films?
I don't even know.
All right.
To tell you the truth.
Billy Crystal's from The Comedians, though. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Okay. With Josh Gad, one of my favorite actors, and an Academy Award winner.
Weird, yeah.
Isn't that weird? He won it for playing
it's good.
A snowman.
Yeah, it's good, but it's just weird. You wouldn't think that. You wouldn't guess that, but very cool.
But they don't call them hearing aids at Starkey. They call them...
Wearables.
Wearables. It's so dumb.
It's so dumb. They're hearing aids.
All right, so this episode's definitely not brought to you by Starkey Wearables.
No, Ben would not like that if he knew if I said that was stupid. But it's a little bit silly. Stop trying to add things to the lexicon. Yeah. They've always been hearing aids.
Like my shirt is a wearable. My shoes are wearables. Shorts, wearables.
Mm-hmm.
Hat, wearable. I could name everything I'm wearing, and it would be wearable.
Yep.
But
yeah, that's a really weak.
I just call them by the specific name that they are: shoes, shirt, hat, underpants.
Hearing aid.
What hearing aid? Yeah.
Yeah, and the ones that they sell are like the super like tech advanced ones that you literally like could study somebody's their ear. Why do you have that in your eye? Yeah, you could study their
I've been
ear
wearing
and you
it for
won't
6
see
months,
it.
but it's made my hearing is still crappy and I can't see out of my eye.
It's just a little fiber optic. It's like as wide as like a piece of fishing line, and then the rest, like the battery part of it, sits behind your ear, but it's just a little bean.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy, and they advance so quickly. Like he brings them sometimes to like our family things. He'll be like, here, if you want to mess around with these, and I always do because they're advanced now. They have Bluetooth, like they attach to your phone to your car.
So can you like listen to music in your hearing aids?
Yeah.
Like,
and so they're trying to make them. Phone? Yeah, you can do it. Like, everything that like any headphones could do plus more. And Starkey's goal is to try to get like people that don't have hearing issues to improve their hearing by wearing hearing aids. Like the hunters is like a big target for them, like for people that are hunting, or like I was just saying, like when you want to watch the TV but not have the volume up, you can do that.
Like you're a hunter and you turn them way up so you can hear like deer walking in the distance, right? And then you see the deer, and then you shoot your gun.
Yeah, that would be a nightmare.
Then you actually need to get some new wearables.
Yeah. They should have probably thought about that.
Hey, Starkey, if you wanna hire me, I'll do it. I'll come up with some reasons for people to use those and ways around, blowing your ears out with guns.
Yeah.
I've wanted to get hearing aids for a while. I was just talking to my aunt about this because she just got some new hearing aids. She's one of the people that has talked a lot quieter since getting them.
Yeah.
But I would like to get like big novelty ears that like go over my ears, and they're like giant monkey ears or like elephant ears or just big human ears that are the size of my whole head. But they actually make my hearing better, but they also look really stupid.
I just don't have that good of insurance.
No, but I've got a great prop guy.
Yeah, maybe one day that'll be the standard. Like, well, not like glasses. People that wear glasses need glasses typically. I don't know. If they were free, I'd wear them, but they are very much not free. They're crazy expensive.
I knew a lot of people growing up that wore glasses because they were like fashionable instead of like a vision thing.
Okay.
And I always thought that was really dumb. And I was like, but I also wanted to wear glasses. So instead I just looked at the sun for an hour a day.
There you go.
Here I am.
Achievement.
Bespectacled.
I always wanted braces, and that dream came true.
I would like...
a nightmare.
I've never needed braces. I think I would like to get them someday.
Yeah.
Just to clean it up. But that's excess money.
My sister and my mom both had braces twice by choice. So silly.
So bizarre.
I don't have that vanity bone in me.
No.
Yeah, I had braces and it straightened things up. And then my second day after I got my braces off, I was walking to the bathroom in the middle of the night and one of my retainers just popped out of my mouth while I was walking. And next step, it went into my heel.
Ooh.
And it just cracked in half. And I was so scared to tell my mom that I just broke my like $1,000 item that was supposed to live in my mouth at nighttime. And I was so scared to tell her that I never did. I never told her. And so not good. Like bye-bye huge money investment called braces. And then to make things way worse, since I've known you, I broke my jaw in incredible fashion. And I had to have my mouth wired shut. And when you do that, like the doctor told me, it's basically like turbo braces. It's going to change the order of your teeth.
Yeah.
And he said, like, not for the better. He's like, it may be on accident, but he was just like, just so you know, it's going to change. And it did.
Right now, because this is an audio medium, not visual, Ryan's teeth are, there's rows of them, like in a stadium seating in his mouth. It's just
7 rows.
Very bizarre.
Yeah.
Top and bottom. So don't put anything in there.
Shark guy. Yeah. And I can lose teeth and they grow back is what's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I sell them at novelty shops.
Would have never happened if you wouldn't have broken your jaw.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was like my superhero thing. Because when I broke my jaw, I fell on a beetle. And that beetle was radioactive. And now I have rows of teeth.
Yeah. It's like a superpower, but it doesn't really... it's not.
I can eat a sandwich so fast.
Yeah.
But brushing my teeth, 3 hours. So, yeah, there's give and there's take. But yeah, so now my teeth, I'll do it in the microphone. Not great, but also, who cares?
They're not bad.
I have them.
Yeah.
They changed. Like my 2 front teeth are like worse now. And I remember, I'll never forget my grandma when I had my I don't even know what you call the wires. Arch bars and the wires. No, I still had the arch bars on. Arch bars. But I had the wires taken off on Christmas Eve. And that's when, like, my family does Christmas. Like, that's when I see my grandma. And I went there. And she was like, or she didn't. I don't even think she knew my jaw was broken. We don't tell her stuff like that. Just keep her happy.
No need to worry her.
No, yeah. And so, but, like, my cousin is a dentist. And, like, 2 of my other cousins are doctors, and they're like, hey, let's see, like, you got it off and stuff. And so I showed them.
I got it off.
I showed them, and my grandma looks, right as I'm showing them, my grandma looks up, she goes, were your front teeth always buck like that? And I was like, you walking home always like that? I did give her a ride. We saw a car accident on the way home that day.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it was cool.
I love car accidents.
I got it on camera. Dash cam.
I was in the car that hit the other guy.
Yeah. No, that was a cool car accident because it was crazy, but nobody got hurt. Like
that's the best.
They popped out of the cars instantly. These days, if you're driving like a newer car, you're going to walk away from a car accident. They're so safe now. And like roads are so restricted. Yeah. Anyway, my teeth aren't perfect, but they're there, which is all I care about. I mean, I had to get some implants, because when I broke my jaw, I broke a few teeth.
Yeah.
So now I have like titanium in my jaw, but that's fine. It's kind of cool. Every time I get an x-ray, Wolverine. Like, I love it. I don't think he has metal in his mouth.
I think he has, it's not aluminium. It's, boy, if I was a nerd, I would know what.
Oh, is it like a type of metal?
Yeah.
Tungsten.
No, it's made
magnesium.
It's made up for the series specifically.
Oh.
Doesn't matter. The X-Men series were like the only superheroes that I could get behind, and then I saw X3, and I was like, this is a garbage series.
I've never seen any of the movies. I used to read the comics when I was a kid. I loved Gambit.
Dude, Gambit was really cool. I think
is he in the movies?
Ryan Reynolds plays him, I want to say.
He is so hot.
But I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure Ryan Reynolds plays, because he plays Deadpool as well, which is also technically an X-Men, I guess.
Oh.
Or they like he's in the X-Men series and they try to get him to join the school or whatever.
I used to read Deadpool when I was a kid too. And I would give those to my brothers when I was done. Like I have brothers that are much younger than me. And I don't know if they could even read when I would give them to them because I wasn't reading comics that late. I probably stopped reading comics when I was like 13 or 14. And I would read them and I'd give them to them.
As you should, by the way.
Yeah, I agree fully. I don't think that's an a thing to carry into adulthood. Go check out the movies or just read your old comics. It's okay. I think it's okay to go back to the old ones because that's like visiting an old place. Like I remember when I start reading something, I remember where I read it the first time or a podcast. When I re-listen to podcasts, I'll be like, oh yeah, I was in California when I heard this the first time. And I remember thinking it was cool that like Zach Galifianakis lived like 2 streets over from where I lived. And that's where they were doing that podcast. So I'd like listen to it and go walk over there and be like, that's where they were doing it. And that's where that kid in the weird shirt was like yelling at them. Yeah. AST Radio. Check it out from 2006.
I felt that way about listening to the last podcast on the left, Charles Manson series when I was in the California desert.
Oh yeah, because they escaped to Death Valley for a while. Yeah,
I mean, we weren't in the same desert, but
you're in Los Angeles. You're in Southern California in the desert. That counts.
So hot. Adamantium is the metal that Wolverine has in his body. I don't know if it's real or not. I don't really care.
Can't recycle.
Mark Maron had a really good breakdown of superhero movies and why he's so condescending of them in one of his most recent podcasts.
I haven't listened to him for some time.
You know, I didn't even hear it in the podcast. Somebody transcribed it, and I saw it pop up on Twitter.
I listened to one recently, but then before that, it was a while.
He's had killer guests on late. Like Gus Van Zant's on this week.
Oh.
Like,
I haven't listened to that.
I mean, he had Obama on like 3 years ago, so
yeah.
Anything under that is lesser, but he's had great guests on recently, and I'm just like, I'll just watch Glow season 2. You know, I'll get my Maron.
I do love Mark Maron. I think he's great. I think it's so cool that he like made this huge comeback. I mean, he's bigger than he was when he was big in like '92. Yeah. But then like
he's a better person than he was then.
Yeah, he like aggressed his way out of the comedy scene. You know, like just from being like a curmudgeon, and then you know he's at Air America. He gets fired from Air America. They forget to take his badge for the door. So him, and I can't think of the guy's name right now, but I think it's Sam. I can't think of it right now.
Sam Levine?
No, it's the guy from Who's the Caboose, the Sarah Silverman movie. It's like her boyfriend in that movie.
Yeah.
I think it was those.
Sam Shepard.
Sam Shepard. I believe it was him and Sam Shepard that they would just sneak in to the Air America studios, and those were the first episodes of WTF.
That's so cool.
That's so cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like I learned that in 2010. That's when I started listening to it, and I was like, "This is so cool." And like, but he didn't have quite as good a guest. But like, one of the first ones I listened to was Andy Dick. I'll never forget. Andy Dick came on, and
was this like 06, 07?
This was 2010. I had just moved back from LA.
Okay,
and Andy Dick was singing comedy songs on Maron's podcast, and one of them was about unprotected sex, and the song was called "Dip Your Cock in Vodka." I don't know if that's okay for this pod.
It's fine.
I'm not going to sing it, but I mean, those are the words.
I mean, you're a bad singer, so
yeah. That's why.
Yeah.
So, that was weird, and now he goes from Andy Dick singing that to Obama to and I think he's had, in my opinion, there's been bigger people on than Obama. Yeah, he was a sitting president, which is insane.
And he came to the garage.
Yeah, and they don't even do it there anymore. I think the garage is done. I think he's in a studio.
Yeah, he moved to a new house.
That's so sad.
So I don't know.
That house should be a museum.
Yeah. It would be really cool if you could like go look through his records and
his tube amps and stuff.
But
like that dude's awesome.
There. He's like, I don't know, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Yes, no, look at it, don't.
Where's
I don't
the cat?
care. Yeah.
Where's Boomer living? Yeah, Mark would be cool. I think he would be like Mark, because I know him. I think he would be a cool guy to work with or work for.
I think so.
Like Kyle. Is that his name in the show? Kyle and Marin, his like little assistant.
Yeah. Big Head from Silicon Valley.
Everybody, welcome Baghead. I love that so much when he calls him Baghead.
That actor's super funny.
Gavin Belson.
No. Well, yeah.
Big Head.
But Big Head.
Nelson Baghetti guy.
All he does is he sips on his drinks.
Huge drinks.
like mega gulps.
Can I have bucket of cola? Yeah. Like, where do you get that? Is that a 7-Eleven thing?
I don't know.
We don't have that.
They've got big ones at the SA, but I think the top one they got, like, I got a 32 ouncer.
But that doesn't even look that's not an outrageous cup size.
But this was like the third to largest.
That was?
You know, they
go they go bigger.
Like 20 ounce.
Did they do
32, 44.
That's 32.
64. Yeah.
Do they do the thing in the summer like that McDonald's does where it's any size is like 99 cents, the same price? I think that's awesome.
I think so. This one was.
That's so cool.
Like the three smaller ones were all 99 cents for sure.
Sweet.
And the slushies are 99 cents right now. And Super America, if you're around one, they have this. I like slushies. I grew up on them. It's, you know, your typicals: blue raspberry, wild cherry, and or Coke. You know.
Yeah.
If a place is experimenting, they might have a Mountain Dew. Super America has all of those.
Yeah.
And they have a mango pineapple right now.
How's that?
Dude,
dreamy.
So lit. I love pineapple though. I'll put pineapple on pizza.
Me too.
I'll put pineapple on.
Not in New York.
Ice cream. Why not?
They don't like it if you get any toppings. You're just supposed to get plain and then just walk out without looking them in the eye. Like buying pizza in New York was intimidating.
So you're like, yeah, hey, give me a slice. That's New York.
Hey.
And they're like,
I'm waiting here.
What kind do you want? And you're just like, give me the big one that's bigger than the plate. Yeah. I want to eat half of it. Like Louis. Yeah.
Like Louis at the beginning.
You know, from the intro.
Yeah, it was intimidating, man. And I was with like somebody born in Manhattan, and she was just like, "Oh, you're kind of a puss."
Is this when you were getting that tour from that lady that you met on the subway?
It was on that trip.
Yeah.
I was working for that woman, that singer-songwriter, and that producer. And yeah, we were in like for me, it was a work trip. And she would just give me like 1 hour. She gave me like one night. She gave me like an hour of free time. And then one night she gave me like 3 hours. And that's when I met awesome subway lady. That's a different time. But yeah. I
think we should do an episode about your that trip to New York, because you stayed at an incredible location.
Yeah, like a really.
The ending of your trip was somewhat tumultuous.
Oh yeah.
And then
very
random guest on.
Well, then I got sued after.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, they didn't end up getting to sue me, but they like filed the paperwork, and I had to go meet with their lawyer. Well, and I signed an NDA. That's the only thing is I'll have to look up the rules on like when that non-disclosure agreement would expire, because I know they don't last forever.
Sure.
Also, they have nothing to come after me for. I didn't do anything wrong. So
we're gonna get that steel out of your jaw, buddy.
Right.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I don't know. It was ridiculous that they made me sign it, because I was like, I was doing the right thing. You guys screwed up, not me. But they were holding my last paycheck hostage, and when I lived in California, I was poor AF. Yeah. Like I was broke pretty much all the time, and that's why.
Well, and they held your paycheck in California while simultaneously abandoning you in New York.
Right. Oh yeah, and I had to come up with the $400 flight for a Virgin Airlines flight home, because that was the next one. I had to spend the night at JFK because for some reason that biggest airport closes down. It's not the biggest, but it closes down at night. So that was weird. But I had to sleep in the airport, and some lady shook me awake and said, your phone. It was sitting on my chest, like the shittiest Nokia brick phone. Yeah. And she was like, somebody will take your phone. And I was like, lady, I'd rather have a phone stolen than be awake.
Yeah, for sure.
Walk on. I got drunk at Devani's.
They have those there?
Devani. Yeah. Oh, good point. It was a red pizza restaurant.
Okay.
Sbarro maybe, but they had Heineken.
Sbarro is definitely in New York, because that's where E worked in.
Yeah, he was like the manager.
Pizza boy.
And that's where Michael Scott goes, I like to go here to get a New York slice. He walks into Sbarro. Yeah.
I mean, they might have Devani's too. I just thought that was like a Minnesota company.
I really recall it being Devani's. It is a Minnesota company because the owner comes to the place where I valet.
Sure.
Because the first time I was looking for his car, he said, "Oh, I didn't get a ticket, but I have hoagie license plates. So I'm looking for a car with sandwiches strapped to the bumpers."
Yeah.
But then I look at it, and his license plates literally say hoagies. But I remember it being Devani's, but that doesn't mean it's
not the
true.
best vanity plate.
No, it was a very cool car, but yeah, I'm sure he had like 9 cars too. But yeah, I drank like the guy when I got to the airport. It was super late, and the guy was like closing up the place, and I was like. He's like, "You want something?" And I was just like, I just want a beer. I don't want pizza really." And he was like, "Okay." And he gave me a beer. And I was like, "You're getting out of here?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm about to leave." And he was like, "I'll stay, I guess, if you wanna have some more." I ended up having like 5.
Dude, tight.
Yeah, he was cool. It was nice to just talk to a normal guy. And I told him everything that had just happened.
Yeah.
Like it was so cool to like it was free therapy. I'll never see him again. So we don't have a patient-doctor agreement, but we don't need to because I'm a tree in a forest and he's a rock on a beach. We're never going to cross paths again. He doesn't know my name. I don't know his name. It's over. It was beautiful.
If you would have walked in just at close and you're like, "Yeah, I'm hungry. I want a beer and a pizza." He'd be like, "No, we're closed.
Yeah.
I'm not going to dirty the kitchen. I'm not going to put our staff through that."
Yeah, but I was just buying bottles of Heineken.
He can open 5-10 beers.
Yeah.
And like there's no better place to spend your time drinking than an airport.
What else are you going to do? Yeah.
Yeah.
I needed to drink enough to go to bed because I knew there was no way I was sleeping. I was jacked.
Yeah.
With fear, anger, anxiety. This was terrible. This was a terrible time. And, I mean, I wasn't that young, but I was like 23 and a stranger in a strange land, you know. And I didn't have a pocket full of money. One of the people I worked for, the producer she was very sweet, and I would give her a hug if I saw her today, and she would be okay with that. You
might want to just check first because of the
climate has changed.
Yeah. Me too.
And they're not together anymore because one of them isn't gay anymore.
They were a gay couple.
Yeah,
producer,
but they had a kid.
Performer.
Yeah, it was okay, but yeah. I don't remember what else. I lost my
tree in the forest, rock on the beach, drinking at airports.
The producer, she made me be able to survive because when I left, I walked out of the place we were staying in, and she followed me. And she walked with me because she was like, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to the A train, and I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to the airport." And she was like, and in my mind, I was like, "I hope the fucking A train goes to the airport."
Yeah.
Or I'm an idiot.
I honestly probably would have been like, "I'm going to the Brooklyn Bridge. I'm going to kill myself."
It was
to make them
day.
feel bad.
Oh, yeah. And then just run.
That's my
and she's like, "Brooklyn's that way."
But only get a block because I'm terribly out of shape.
But okay, so she followed me out of this uber famous person's house that we were staying in, and
I mean the father of an even uber famouser person.
The father of a tremendously well-known person, exactly. And but I'm walking out of this place. I'm walking down the street. This would have been Hudson. I'm walking down Hudson, right past we're across this Christopher. We were right by there.
Oh, I know it well.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said it. So we're walking down. I'm walking down Hudson Street. Then I realize she's following me, and not in a bad way, but she's like, "Hey, Ryan, stop! Like, come here." And she apologized for the other's behavior and the argument that happened. And then she was like, "Come on!" And she pulled me into a little bodega thing, and she took a bunch of money out of the ATM, and she gave me, I think it was $400. And she was like, "This isn't your pay for this." She was like, "I'm gonna deduct some of this." But she was like, I'm going to write you a check when you get back. So don't do anything. I think she thought I was going to take action. I was so poor. Lawyer wasn't even a word to me, you know. And I made decent money working for them, but my shoebox of an apartment was over $1,200 a month. Everything was insanely expensive there. So
yeah. And you were living right on Venice Beach.
Yeah.
A couple
Not the brightest idea. I probably should have checked out downtown or Koreatown or something like that, but I didn't know any better. I lived in Santa Monica for a minute at first, and then
that's my ideal location when I move out there.
It was great.
But I'm probably going to be in Culver City.
That's okay.
You know, like
lots of work.
45 minutes away from
and there's like studios
traffic.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
no, it's a good area to work if you want to be in the industry.
Yeah. But I had to take this trip. I had to because I was like to my girlfriend. I was like, hey, if I take this trip, I come home with like $4,000 in my hand.
Because they're paying you for the entire time in New York.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
We just agreed on like a flat rate. They're like, okay, how about this amount? And I didn't even negotiate. I was like, well, I've never seen that much money. I was like, do we have to go to the mint? Like, I couldn't believe it. And so that never happened. They totally screwed me out of that. But I mean, they still had to pay me a decent amount, but I had to like go talk to their lawyer. Weirdest thing ever though, their lawyer's office was like less than a block from my apartment. It was right in Venice, right above Aardvark, like it was like a thrift, like a hip thrift store. I went to an interview there. I tried to get a job at Aardvark once, and they were like,
with 2 A's?
Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Aardvark's, and then Aardvark was right across, I think it was Windward from the like dispensary that was closest to my house. So everything I needed was right there. But yeah, that was a weird time. But I'm grateful that it happened. I wouldn't take it back. Who cares? I can deal with a little fight.
No, for sure.
People, that's okay.
And
they both ended up apologizing, and I ended up apologizing. Then they made me sign that thing.
It's a good story.
Okay,
your job is like one of my ideal jobs when I move out there. It'd be so cool to be someone's personal assistant.
I really lucked into it. Yeah. It was great.
I like that we began that story with that's
another
a story
time.
For another time. Every time I'm like, yeah, we should do that on another podcast. Do like a whole podcast about it.
Yeah.
It turns into that story being told immediately.
Yeah.
So when you said the mint, I had just read this thing that the mint loses like a crazy amount of money printing pennies every year.
Yeah, because they cost more than a penny to make.
Yeah. Apparently they cost 1.5 cents to produce the penny, and they've lost $46 million on pennies since 2006.
And we don't need them.
No.
People are so annoyed when they get handed a penny.
I saw a penny on the street
away.
today, and I walked past it.
Yeah. Well, you would have lost money picking it up.
Yeah. I might have farted or tore my pants, and embarrassed myself for a penny. No, thanks.
Nope.
Like Bill Gates can walk by a stack of $1,000 and not pick it up because that's going to lose him money.
Yeah, that's the
for
same
me,
as a penny to us. Yeah.
If I'm sweeping the floor and I sweep up a penny, that's probably going into the trash.
Into the trash, which is illegal. But I would do the exact same thing.
I'm kidding. I've never done that.
Well, I do illegal stuff. Me and my son put coins on the train track by our house sometimes.
Yeah, just hope they don't shoot out,
No, we don't ever see them.
Okay.
We put it on there and then we come back the next day.
Okay, but then they're still there generally?
Yeah, we mark it. We'll take a big stick and lay it a certain way, like
lay
pointing.
that on the track as well.
No, he's like, how about we do a pop can? And I was like, no, it can't derail the train.
Yeah.
It can't.
I think a quarter would be asking a lot, to put that on the train track.
Yeah, I think that's what we do. Quarters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll do a stick. Like we'll take like the biggest, like it looks like driftwood, which is weird because it's pretty high ground, but we'll put that like pointing to the part of the track where it is, but like kind of far away. And then we'll take a rock and put it like really close to that part of the track, like where there's no other rocks on that part of the rail. We'll set it there. And then it's super easy to find. We've never lost one yet.
A penny?
Quarter.
A coin.
One of our coins. One of our smashers. We call them smashers. I feel like that'd be a Canadian thing. Look at all these smashers. So hot.
And I mean, doing it that way beats the heck out of going to like the Mall of America and putting $1 of quarters in to get a penny out.
Yeah, or the zoo, 51 cents, and yeah, you get the penny.
2 of silver, 1 of brown.
That's what I say for dinner. Yeah.
Well, to wrap it up, I've got a segment that I like to do every week called Heroes and Dummies.
I haven't done this one.
No?
I'm familiar, but I haven't done it with you yet.
So just to run down, a lot of people call in. They call the hotline. They email the website. And they say, Sam, Heroes and Dummies. I don't get it. What are these people?
Yeah.
So there's the dummies. I think it's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
They're dumb idiots. They're buttheads. They're people that have wronged you, what have you. Heroes, people that make your life better. It's not that hard. The people that write to me every week, call in, they're the dummies.
Yeah, dummies. Chill on the hotline. We pay per minute.
Yeah. So quit singing the alphabet, even though it only takes 26 seconds. Yeah, I like to start out with dummies. You got any?
I do. I have a dummy. Do I go first?
Please.
Okay. My dummy, his name is David Martinez. He's just burning up the news in Minneapolis, St. Paul the last few days, last week or two. He was the guy that last week, in like the span of a week, he got... Oh, he's a candidate for... he's running for St. Paul City Council, a St. Paul City Council
I'm not
seat.
familiar.
No, I wasn't either. The only reason I know him is because he's such a shitbag. So he goes... The first thing is domestic violence against his wife. He wasn't charged, nothing was written up with that, but he had to like leave the house, or no, she left the house with her kids. The next day, he's kicked out of the St. Paul Public Library system for a month because of confrontation there. Right after that, he's kicked out of Target Field for a year for a big confrontation with security and police. And then right after that, he posts his wife filed for an order of protection, so she could just be far away with their kids. They work in the same building and stuff. She just needed distance from him because he's being erratic. And so he got back at her by posting a nude picture of her to his campaign blog, his campaign WordPress. Guy cannot stay out of his own way. That's my dummy.
Yeah, that is a big dummy.
He worked at it.
Yeah.
He achieved dummy.
Yeah, that takes... You have to work hard or you're just that big of a dummy that those things seem like...
But how did he make it for the first 38 years of his life? And then all of a sudden last week is just thrash week.
Yeah. How did he get away with being so dumb? Or did something happen and he snapped and this is why he's behaving this way?
He must. I think it's this election.
Sure.
I think there may be something to do with that. I have no idea about anything that has to do with the election. There's 2 other candidates. I know that there's 2 other women running, only from reading the stories about him.
Obviously, one of them is going to win.
Yeah. Well, the mayor...
You can't say that with
the
Donald
mayor
Trump.
asked him, Melvin Carter, that's the mayor of St. Paul, asked him to step down or to step out of the race immediately after the revenge porn thing. And nobody knew about the domestic violence thing. That was the first in the timeline, I'm pretty sure. Nobody knew about that until all the other stuff started happening. He's nuts.
Yeah. Man.
That's my dummy.
All right. Well, my dummy is kind of similar in that he's a dummy. John Schnatter, my boss.
I read about him today.
So he came out as racist a year ago, telling NFL owners that they should keep their boys in place, during the Colin Kaepernick's kneeling before the flag.
And that killed his stock.
And it crushed it.
Yep.
And then he is on a phone call with Forbes, I believe, and they're going through a racial sensitivity.
Well, yeah, wasn't it racial
yeah.
sensitivity when this happened?
Yeah. And so he starts saying the N-word, starts talking about how Colonel Sanders used to say it and never got in trouble. Talks about how when he was growing up, black people were dragged behind cars until they died.
He said this?
So at least he's not doing that. Yeah.
At least he's not doing that.
And you're just digging yourself a bigger hole, right?
And he was in a hole.
He was in a hole.
That's why they were having that phone call.
He had to step down from his CEO position a year ago. So he still had 30%.
Yeah, he has. As of today, he still has 30% of the stock.
That is going to go. He's getting bought out at some point.
Yeah, the board will force it. I think he still has a seat on the board, but that'll get...
He's resigned.
From the board, too?
Yep. And he was kicked off the board of directors at Louisville, the University of Louisville.
Yep.
And I believe their football stadium or baseball stadium are
renamed.
Did they rename it?
I think it's the name of the team or whatever.
Cool.
It's just the whatever field.
But
yeah, because that was his alma mater.
Yeah.
Yeah. He donated a bunch of cash to them, $5 million.
And if you donate that amount of money, you should be able to name the stadium.
But that's why he did it, for naming rights.
Yeah. Stadiums shouldn't be named after racist people.
Yeah.
I don't think they should.
Today he was kicked out of his office.
Was he really?
Yeah, that's what I read about him today. Today was the actual day that he was removed from
this
the property.
Guy's got a son.
Bo's in the house.
And what does this kid think about his dad?
How old do you think Bo is now? 25?
Probably in his 20s.
Yeah.
He's got the internet. He knows what people think of Papa John. But since he's resigned, stocks have skyrocketed. They've seen their biggest growth in 7 years.
So why is Papa John's not busy? I can't figure that out.
It's actually like the last 2 shifts of my week this week after this all happened were much busier than they had been.
Kind of back to normal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But like once he said said the stuff about the NFL, like we took a huge hit.
Yeah, for like the kneeling stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, John, you're a dummy.
Yeah, you're a pizza boy. Yeah. Remember that. Like
what?
Yeah, you might have $1 billion, but it's pizza money.
Yeah. I mean, I want $1 billion.
Not knowledge
I want your
money.
house, but
I also
want to treat people right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that guy. Another guy can't stay out of his own way.
Grade A beanbag.
Grade A bag of beans.
So yeah, any heroes this week?
Maybe my hero is the same guy, David Martinez, for making it so easy to select a candidate.
Yeah.
Like that was really good on him. Now nobody's going to make a mistake, you know.
Yeah.
That could have been bad, like if that guy hadn't shown this side and then he got elected. So maybe he's a hero for getting this out.
What if he still wins? What if the alt-right comes through and they're like, we want this guy, and they write him in?
No, but he's like uber liberal. He's like,
okay.
he's like whatever the alt-right version of liberal is.
Sure.
I don't know what that would be called.
The alt-left.
The alt-left. Yeah, he's very, very liberal. That's what keeps getting him into trouble. Or like he has these causes that he thinks are happening, but they're not. Like he just keeps walking like halfway into a situation and being like, "What are you doing? Injustice." Yeah, and then that gets him in tons of trouble.
Well, my hero this week, as it is every week, is you. Thanks for being. Well, you're not my hero every week.
I was like, what?
Yeah. No, my hero is always my guest.
All right, thanks.
No, just kidding. That's dumb.
Come on.
I do it every week. And
do you know which way the Brooklyn Bridge is?
Whoa, zoinks. I'm going to have to stop doing that because it's not as funny as I think it is to tell people that.
Do you do that all the time? I've never heard you do that.
I've done it the last 5 weeks, I think.
Heartbreak.
But yeah, I get immense joy from pulling the rug out from people's feet as soon as they think I'm thanking them genuinely, which I am. But today,
I feel that.
My hero is my neighbor Reese, this middle-aged married woman. I haven't seen her for like 3 weeks. Sorry today when I was moving my bed.
Yeah.
She told me she's been cooking a lot. That's why I haven't seen her. That doesn't make any sense.
That's really a weird excuse.
But I was like, prove it. And she gave me 6 homemade egg rolls and 6 homemade crab rangoon. And I put those down right before you got here. They were so good.
That's awesome.
So thank you, Reese. Thank you, Ryan, for being on.
Absolutely.
Appreciate.
Thanks for having me. This is cool.
Yeah, it's always fun hanging out, talking into mics. And for everybody else, we'll catch you next week.
can't go too much too fast.
Omaha is a small town. It's been a small town for a while, and I feel like it's time for it to grow up. You know, get some chain stores in there. Like a Starbucks.
That, dude.
Everyone's heading, so that works.
They're putting one in the old park.
Yeah. And I think that's great.
Well, so that like fucking all the other shit, like Bobby Bed, shots per pizza. One more shot.
Yeah, but we don't really want that.
I did.
I hate it. Whatever. It's too long and Bobby.